The way is in training. Miyamoto Musashi. My friends, that is always the way. The way to becoming a master. Training. Each and every day, 10 to 15 minutes. That's all we ask. Let's jump into these charts on this Friday afternoon. Look at what we've seen and what we may see this next week. S&P 500, NASDAQ 100 up some for the day. Everything else is down. Let's jump first into the S&P 500. I have a red spinning top at the end of the week after green up candles. Count them, 6. We can see where the market peaked. Most recently, that was in mid-October, the week beginning the 14th. Last week, the week beginning the 21st, we had not as high a week, but you can see we're not being helped at all by the volume. What do we prefer? We like to have volume that tells us that we've hit a top and then rolling over. Well, we do have volume on the red spinning top. Not enough for me to call a down move here. Might want to get that confirmed over the course of this next week. What is it telling me? Well, if you read about what does it mean when the market's going up into a presidential election, typically means a party in power is who the market's betting on. But look at this. Just days before, now again, it'll be interesting to see what happens Monday, particularly Tuesday. Depending on who wins, this market may just continue to sort of tag along and barely hold itself up. It's going to do one of three things. It's going to either, just slide sideways, it's going to move up, or it's going to move down. Now, if we look at this chart, all other things being equal, looks to me like the market's getting old and tired, but it looks so here too. Back in September, after it peaked interim, then it rolled over. Excuse me, going down a little. Oh gosh, getting the sneezes. Excuse me. Then it moved down for that week. Then it moved sideways with the doji the next week. Then it took off. Excuse me. Took off again for the last 6 weeks. Could just be doing the same thing. Could move up, then recharge, then take off again. But if it starts to break hard down, something we want to really seriously pay attention to, because chances are when it does that, my friends, it's going to go a while. And I'm going to be going short with you. Encourage you to consider a potential practice trade. Now, what's up with the Qs? I was ready to go short on the Qs. Why? Because we had a decent high this last week, but if you notice, check out the high last week, not the week we just finished, the week before, the week beginning 21st of October. What do we see high-wise? $500.28. This week, $501.35, so over $1 higher. Now, this could be our interim high here with all this volume. If we get a red down candle, particularly a red spinning top this next week, that might pull us in. Did some of you jump in just because you saw all this volume and a green doji means lots of indecision? Well, you could have. We did push through, just like on the S&P, where we pushed through the weekly trend line on both the 2-day and the half-day. Same on the NASDAQ. So we'll watch as we get into the course of this next week. I may be going short on at least one of these over this next week, depending on how the election comes out and then how the markets charge forward. To do anything else would be to gamble a little bit, hoping that you're going to hit the elections right. So again, we don't like to gamble. We like to follow the charts because they're telling us what to do. What's up with 20-year U.S. government bonds? Man, we are riding that pony. We've been riding for the last 6 weeks, down again, $1.74%. And what does that mean? Well, of course, we are in TBF, Tango Bravo Foxtrot. That is the single short. And of course, the worst spot you would have gotten into back on the week beginning the 23rd of September would have been a high of $22.27. And of course, over the course of this time. We have gone up to a high of 23.92. So we have been doing well, and we are still long 20-year U.S. government bonds. We will stay with that as long as it continues to chug down in the right direction. Look at all the volume this week reaching that lower low. Look at all the volume in the 2-day, again moving down, and look at the half-day. We'd seen it try to gain a little, but it stayed right below that weekly trend line on the half-day chart and then dumped over in the morning and the afternoon on Friday. What about gold? Well, the precious metal showed some luster this week, reaching a higher high. It's been pulling back the last 2 days, right there above on the half-day chart, the weekly trend line. Same on the 2-day chart with all that volume. So again, be curious to see how gold goes forward after this doji, showing tons and tons of indecision on that 2-day chart with lots of volume to back it up. So again, trying to figure out which way to go, maybe trying to figure out which way the election is going to go. We will keep a close eye on gold and be ready. If the market turns down, gold may very well turn down too. And we don't have a single inverse for you in gold. I mean, there is one, DGZ. The problem with it is that it is very illiquid, which means you have to really take a loss to buy in and have to recover a lot before you make up the spread between the bid and the ask on your practice trade. What do we recommend? We recommend practice trading puts on gold. How do you do that? If you know anything about options, you go and you practice trade options. If you don't, then of course you probably want our 3-part series, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way. Well, that comes free. First thing, you join any of the 3 categories at our Patreon support at chartingwealth.com, and guess what you get? The 3-part series, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way. You will love it. It'll give you what you need to start practice trading options and learning how much you like them. And again, they do give you the ability to short an ETF, a stock, whatever. So again, lots of practical stuff there. Check out Patreon membership if you are interested. The only way to get that. And it's the first thing you get, links in your first email. So gold was down 0.41%. We'll keep an eye and see how this next week goes. Lastly, we'll go to Bitcoin, pulling back a second time, 1.12%, down in the morning, a little further down in the afternoon, still above the weekly trend line on the half-day and the 2-day. Of course, the Thursday, Friday, 2-day candle, a green spinning top. We hit that high in the Monday, Tuesday candle, and of course, stayed there and came off of it. We can see, and when I say this is the prior high going all the way back to that week beginning the 11th of March. It's taken Bitcoin a while to move back up to it, but it did, and now it's fallen off of it. So we'll keep an eye on Bitcoin also as we move into Tuesday, the election on the 5th of November, and we'll see how it affects these charts overall. Be ready for some interesting action this next week. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.